You can rent a game for xCloud. You can rent a
Yeah, that'd
game
be
for
crazy.
Nintendo.
Like having an app on each console.
Right. That would be like, whoa.
But then I don't unless they stay small. But if they gain any sort of popularity, I'm sure the other platforms will be like, listen, we can't have you here because then it's gonna hurt their services.
Well, here's the funny thing. You say that, but remember, here's what people don't get. Game Pass or Gamefly is hard to separate them when you start saying it. This already has Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation games, right? And it has, as long as the game is physical, it's on here. So
No,
like,
I understand, but the thing is like having an app, for
okay,
example, let's say Xbox, right?
okay.
You add a GameFly app that you can just play any game that you want there,
No, 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 no,
and
no.
let's
What I
say
was suggesting was you have an Xbox GameFly app, a PlayStation GameFly app. Like for instance, when you get a game or you get something on, if you got an Android, you got to have the Android version, or if you have the
yeah, yeah.
iPhone, you got the iPhone version.
No, but even so, like you have the Xbox version or
Okay,
GameFly, right? You can play any game you can play on an Xbox. You can
right,
rent it there.
correct.
If the price is the same or similar, like me as a consumer, I would think, why have Game Pass when I can have this?
No,
If they see a lot of people start switching, then they're gonna be like, listen, we can't have this app here.
so you know what my counter to that is? That's always the argument with Game Pass and physical. Now, people always say, well, what's the point of buying a game when I could just rent it from Game Pass, right? That's what you just said, pretty much.
I think there's a difference there because like with Game Pass, like
Okay.
that some of the games are gonna go away. Like they're not gonna stay there.
Okay.
You gotta kind of have a time frame, and you got new games coming in, coming out, and all that. But when with Fly, you have access to all the games. I
Right.
think that changes everything.
No, I mean that does change the game.
Yeah,
Like imagine any game come out, you're like, oh, I want to play that. You might be like, well, I don't want to play this, because let's just say this. I'm sure some games like that. I've been seeing a lot of people play that Atom game or whatever. I'm like, bro, I never seen a trailer for that game, but everybody's playing it. But guess what? It's on Game Pass, right? So why not, right?